Hey there and welcome back to Sims Sunday. My name is Pete and as usual this is the series where we try to complete The Sims 3. Now the last few episodes were quite short because I was in the process of moving. That has been largely taken care of, so now we can focus all our attention on Pete, Ayesha and Paul. And for today's episode we will start with Ayesha. She hasn't raided the criminal warehouse in a while. That's always a nice way to get some quick and easy cash, so we'll start the day off early and bring some law back to Sunset Valley. Alright, 90 minutes later, 1,500 simoleons richer. I would say that was worth our time, but now we have to focus on family matters again. Paul is throwing a bit of a fit because he's hungry, but before we feed him, let's get his social bar up. Throwing him in the air and tickling him, both are very quick interactions that can be used to get the bar back into the green. Then we can feed him on the floor, that way we don't have to interact with him again to let him out of the high chair, and so Ayesha can work on a skill achievement for the logic skill and search the galaxy for stars. Okay, so Paul has finished his breakfast, and because he's a bright kid and we want him to have a bit of a head start in life, he will now continue to work on a skill. That skill would be logic, which he can improve by playing with the blocks here. Meanwhile, we can switch over to Pete. He is still asleep, but he has a wish, and that wish would be to buy a toy box. So let's quickly head into the buy menu and purchase one of those. They're not all that expensive. Alright, and while we're at it, let's buy another thing. This one mainly to get another unique upgrade, but the sprinkler might also be useful later on when we get into gardening. Alright, Pete is still asleep, but in the meantime Paul has leveled up his logic skill. And while he still has a bit of room to grow in that regard, right now there is one more pressing issue. And thanks to his excellent potty training, Paul can now take care of that on his own. Alright, while Paul goes back to play with the blocks, Pete is now awake, and we have big plans for him. Today, Pete will change careers. We have reached level 10 of the professional athlete career with him, we've done advertising deals and autograph sessions, and quite frankly, there is nothing left in this career for him. Quick interruption from Ayesha, who has discovered another star. Congratulations, that should be number 12. She can now go and clean out the potty chair and then work from home. And then back to Pete. We will of course switch him over to a career where he can profit from his current skill set, and with handiness and athletic as his two main skills, what better career than the military? So yes, we will start in a new career from the very beginning, level 1 in the military career, and I think if we play our cards right, he has a very good chance of reaching level 10 in this one as well. Back at home, and the change of jobs also means that Pete has the weekend off. So he has a lot of time on his hands and he can start by putting the auto water upgrade on the sprinkler. Jumping slightly ahead, Ayesha has made a bit of money working from home, and it's all about the skill achievements this weekend, so she will now proceed to call her next chess opponent.
Borgo.
Alright, Victoria Andrews has arrived and that means it's now time for another game of chess. In the meantime, Paul is making great progress. That's another point in the logic skill, and he still has room to grow. And that's a success for Pete. The auto water upgrade is now on the sprinkler. That's another unique upgrade completed, and should we ever decide to grow plants, we won't have to manually start the sprinkler, so that's an added bonus as well. Pete will now use his phone to throw a party at home, and if you now think, well, there's not really a reason for that, you're correct. We're only going to invite one person. And this one person is going to be Erin Kennedy, who as of this morning is Pete's new boss. Later down the line in the military career, the relationship with the boss becomes a factor, so we might as well have her come over early, work on the relationship a bit beforehand, and give Pete a nice head start for the later stages of his career. And it seems like Ayesha has sadly lost the game against Victoria Andrews, but I think since it's early in the day we can go straight for the rematch. Before we get to that, however, let's squeeze in a quick trip to the build menu, where we can buy a kitchen counter, put the dishwasher under it, place the whole thing back where it belongs, and now we have a surface to place some stuff on, such as a microwave. I am absolutely fine with what the fridge offers us in terms of food right now, but as you might have expected, there is a unique upgrade that can only be applied to microwaves, so that's the reason we're getting one. As for Ayesha, she gets an immediate rematch with Victoria, hopefully a bit more successful this time. In the meantime, Pete will be busy putting the faster cooking upgrade on the microwave, so while everyone's busy, we might just have to wait a bit. Alright, second time's the charm for Ayesha. She won her chess match. She will now once again work from home. With Pete's new job, we can certainly use the cash. Speaking of Pete, the lonely guest of his house party has arrived. Aaron Kennedy is here and it's time to make some conversation. Alright, we've progressed quite a bit in our relationship with Aaron Kennedy. Time to ask her to leave. The legendary host lifetime reward will also make sure the party is a success, which will then increase the relationship even further. And here is Paul, who has now all 3 logic skill points that are available to him at this point. So now that Pete has said goodbye to his guest, he can play around a bit with his son and then give him something to eat. The night is slowly setting over Sunset Valley, and for Ayesha that means it's now time to stop working from home. Roughly 1000 simoleons richer, she will now go outside to once again search the galaxy. Pete will take her spot at the computer and work from home, just as long as it takes for Paul to finish his meal and use the potty chair. With all of that taken care of, the only thing that needs to be done is to put Paul back into his crib. Clean out the mess that he has made. And then Pete can proceed to upgrade the microwave. Outside, Ayesha has found another star, number 13 if I'm not mistaken. And she's also getting quite tired, so with that discovery out of the way, I think it's time for her to go to bed. And just a little under 2 hours later, Pete is also done upgrading the microwave. We now have another way to prepare our food, however still only quick meals, until one of our sims picks up the cooking skill. For now we can leave the microwave be and have Pete take a shower. And of course, the one time I had planned to send him to bed early, the shower breaks. Well, not a problem for Pete and his handiness skill, that should be fixed in no time. Don't forget to mop up the puddle for good measure. And then we can finally send Pete off to bed as well. The next morning is here, at least for Ayesha, and we'll start it with a quick shower before we then take care of the needs of Paul. Now that Paul has been snuggled and equipped with a clean diaper, it's time for Ayesha to start her usual routine and search the galaxy for stars. All of that next to a sprinkler that has now automatically turned on, thanks to the upgrade that Pete put on it. And speaking of Pete, a bit later he is also awake and he has the wish to snuggle with Paul. Well, let's fulfill him that. And while Pete is now grabbing something to heat up in the microwave, Ayesha has found another star. This one is number 14. She will go for another round now. In the meantime, Pete's microwave meal is heated up, so he can now have some breakfast. After breakfast, time to fulfill another wish for Pete, this time once again related to Paul. Throw Paul in the air for 250 lifetime happiness points. It doesn't get much easier than that. Then the kid can have something to eat, and in the meantime Pete can grab the mail. Okay, seems like we just received a small ivy plant. Better than nothing, but then again, almost nothing. Anyway, meal and mail are dealt with. That means it's now time for father and son to take a trip to the library. We're going on a skill learning trip deluxe for Paul. Pete will read him some books specifically designed to raise the skills of toddlers. And the first skill we focus is painting. Well, that was fast. We can only hope that the 2 remaining levels for the skill go just as smoothly. Alright, that's level 2 completed. Then, just as we go for round number 3, we get interrupted by an opportunity for Ayesha. We'll gladly take that. And now that's skill level number 3 complete for Paul. That gives him a great head start in the painting skill, a skill that I think we will focus on quite a bit with him. Up next is writing, and we follow the same procedure here. 3 skill books, 3 skill levels. The first one already in the books, no pun intended. And then an opportunity for Pete, upgrading the stereo. That will actually provide us with a great chance to complete another unique upgrade, so we'll definitely take that one. And after a quick switch of positions, Paul has achieved another level in the writing skill. That's 2 out of 3. And that's 3 out of 3. Alright, while Paul and Pete make their way back home, we have to admit it wasn't a successful afternoon for Ayesha. So, because she's growing a bit hungry now, she will stop searching the galaxy and get herself something to eat. Meanwhile, Paul and Pete have arrived back home, and while Paul will head straight for the potty chair, we will spend some lifetime happiness points with Pete. And we will go all the way down to the bottom of the list and purchase the food replicator for 50,000 lifetime happiness points. And all of that not because we actually need the functions of the thing, but simply because we can equip it with another unique upgrade, and we definitely want to apply that with Pete to complete the handiness skill. In the meantime, Ayesha has finished her meal and is now currently calling her next chess opponent. In the few minutes that we have before the opponent arrives, we can use that time to clean out the potty chair with Ayesha. And then look who's here, our next chess opponent is Pete's boss, Aaron Kennedy. Quick switch over to Paul, who has basically completed everything he can at the toddler stage and is now playing with the dollhouse before switching over to the toy box. Please feel free to let me know if you would like to see him age up early. I don't really have a lot more plans with him until he ages up. Alright, back outside we go, and Ayesha has beaten Aaron Kennedy. That not only gives her the win, but also an increased chess rank. She is now level 4. Remember, we only need to get to level 5 to become a Chess Grandmaster, which in combination with logic at level 10 will also complete the Chess Legend lifetime wish. And because Ayesha seems to be on a small hot streak, well, we might as well call our next opponent. In the time it takes this opponent to arrive, we can feed Paul, switch over to Pete to put him in the crib and to sleep, and then after quite a bit of waiting time, Ryan Norwood finally arrives. Let's see how he matches up with Ayesha. Alright, not too well I would say, judging from this reaction. Sadly, knocking all the pieces over doesn't give us the win, and because it's getting late and surprise, Ayesha actually has to go back to work tomorrow. And because Pete is now also finished upgrading the food replicator, I think it's time we call it a day, send everyone to bed and make a cut here. To all of you, thanks for watching not only this but also the previous episodes. Thanks for sticking with me in the past few weeks. I know content has been a bit scarce, but I have big plans for the future. But that's it for now. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.